Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Today, once again, I'm answering your questions. Everything from, FP Journe Quartz watches and if they're worth it, to what is, in my opinion, one of the next collectible Rolex watches. But of course, before we get started, customary wristwatch check. Today I'm wearing my Girard-Perregaux Laureato Evo 3 Moon Phase. Love it to death. And also shout out to DelReyWatch.com, of course. New watches today. Everything from a white dial Rolex Explorer 1 to a rare blue dial Omega Speedmaster Reduced. Putting up a couple of Tudors tomorrow. I think the Heritage Chrono came in and a Black Bay. And we also have a white Panerai that just made it up as well. So go check it out, DelReyWatch.com. And also check out the Hot Deals section where you can see our discounted or our more heavily discounted stock. So yeah, guys, you guys follow me on Instagram at Federico Talks Watches. You asked me questions on the Q&A picture. And today I'm going to answer a few. So if you see me staring down, I'm just reading the paper. I'm not trying to be rude. First one from Tito LAX. Hey Federico, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. Can you give me some advice on a watch roll for traveling? Actually, it's really funny you say this, and I promise this is not sponsored content, but I just ordered an ostrich, a custom-made ostrich 3 watch roll from my favorite strap maker, Combat Straps, Aaron, in Montreal. It wasn't inexpensive, but it is the best of the best, and I can't wait to get it. It's going to take them two weeks to make it. I'm going to get my name embossed on the inside. I picked the materials, I picked the colors, I picked the stitching. I love ostrich. What can I tell you? So yeah, check out Combat Straps for a very nice watch roll. Not the cheapest in the world. Actually, for the quality, I think it's pretty damn cheap, but my point is, it's very much upper echelon stuff. It's beautiful, beautiful piece. Paul Stir 1 says, do you think watch companies look at watch YouTubers and take feedback from them seriously? No. No, they don't, particularly the bigger the brand. Sure, micro brands take our feedback, and I think, I've spoken to some Swiss watch industry executives, and they pretend to take the feedback, but no, I don't think they do at all. I think they still think the internet is irrelevant, which, unfortunately, the Swiss watch industry is a little bit backwards these days. Some surprising stuff, but no, they don't take our feedback seriously, in my opinion. Bashir_Mamu. Different question. What is the best restaurant in Miami? Well, if you want to go old school and classic, Joe's Stone Crab in South Point is amazing, fantastic. I go there at least once a month for a martini and some stone crab claws. You really can't go wrong. If not, listen, Miami has gotten a lot better food-wise recently. Fuegos in the Faena House is particularly good. And also, if you just want a Cuban sandwich, Enriqueta's downtown is also delicious. But yeah, different question. Thanks so much for asking. Adam Jaworski 982 says, hey Fed, what do you think about the Rolex Datejust Oysterquartz? Will they ever get the love of other Rolex models? I bought my two-tone in 1986, and it still looks and runs great. Adam, thank you so much for the question. I think it's a double-edged sword. On one side, it's quartz, and quartz watches never really get the amount, they don't get love from collectors, rightfully or wrongfully so. I'm not a quartz fan, admittedly, either. However, I can tell you, this watch is not just a circuit board. It's if you look at the movement, it's extremely mechanical, extremely well finished, arguably better finished than the other watches. And I think with the Rolex market climbing all the time, and the fact that this has a different movement, a different case, and integrated bracelets are very hot right now, that these are steadily climbing in value. I don't think it'll ever be as popular as a sub, but they don't make this anymore. They're getting scarce, they're harder to repair. I do think eventually people are going to give it a nice boost in popularity. I know I want one. Actually, if anybody's selling a blue dial Oysterquartz in steel, let me know. I'll buy it off you for my personal collection. Matt Parker, 35. What's the one watch, a Delray watch, that has sat on the shelves for a while and you can't believe it hasn't sold yet? This one is easy for me, and that is the Roger Dubuis Homage Perpetual Bi-Retrograde Perpetual Calendar. I can't believe it hasn't sold, to the point where I actually think I might keep it for myself. I mean, this is Roger Dubuis pre-Richemont with a bi-retrograde perpetual calendar watch that he invented on an enamel dial in rose gold with a Geneva seal movement, and we're asking less than $14,000. I mean, it's the price of a Hulk, and it's a precious metal perpetual calendar with a bi-retrograde complication made at the time by an independent watchmaker, a master independent watchmaker. And I cannot believe one of you watch geeks hasn't taken it. I'm not particularly upset because I know it will sell eventually, and if it doesn't sell, I'll end up keeping it. So it's no big deal, but I mean, you guys snapped up a bunch of great deals when they come in, but how is this one still there? You guys are sleeping. Jeez. Spymatic says, have you ever seen many or any instance of ceramic watches with their cases cracking or breaking? Yeah, all the time. I've seen Panerais break, I've seen IWCs break, and it's always for the same reason. Impact. Not hitting it against the door, but dropping it on a hard floor. I've seen lugs crack. I've seen cases break in half, and unfortunately, there is no fix apart from sending it to service and getting a whole new ceramic case, which starts at the very minimum at about $2,000. Now, ceramic is highly scratch resistant. It ages very well, but its Achilles heel is shock, and it doesn't scratch. It snaps or shatters or break. Shatters not so much, snaps or breaks. So, and when it does happen, which is rare, it is very costly. Shahir Masood says, hey Fed, is it even crazy to consider spending a ton of money on an FP Journe Elegante considering it's a quartz? Second quartz question. In my opinion, yes, I think it's an extremely overhyped watch that is only climbing in value because people can't afford or can't get any other Journe. That being said, is it impressive? Yes, very well finished. Interesting kind of sleep system to conserve battery life, but it's nowhere near as mechanical as the Oysterquartz, in my opinion. And while it is an interesting watch, I mean, $14,000-$15,000 on the secondary market, even up to $17,000 for a quartz watch. I mean, you're just buying the FP Journe name at that point. I don't think it's worth it at all. This is purely my opinion, but I think it's simply a case of can't get what I actually want, but I still want an FP Journe. I'll get that one. That's just me, though. XM1968 says, Fed, is your problem with 5-digit Rolex references the strap, or is the entire watch underwhelming? I actually love the entire watch. I love the case profile. I love the aluminum bezels. I love the movements. I love how they age. I think they're great. But the strap, and I never curse, but the bracelet is a real piece of shit. I mean, awful buckle, stamped buckle, bracelets that loosen over time, they rattle. I mean, I can't believe it. I mean, yes, on a vintage watch, it's kind of cool, and these are starting to become more vintage. So it kind of fits the profile, but boy, I mean, the only underwhelming part for me, honestly, was the bracelet and clasp, and it wasn't a little underwhelming. It made me sell my Pepsi 3 times. I'll put it that way. It's just completely unacceptable to me. But that's, once again, purely my opinion. I know some people would find it supple and more flexible and more comfortable, and that is entirely okay, but for me, it wasn't. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for sticking around for another Q&A, and please follow me on Instagram. That's at Federico Talks Watches, and when you see the Q&A picture, you get to ask your questions. Also, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help. And please don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more content. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.